YouTube traffic. This is 345 Delta Foxtrot, ready to record another video. YouTube traffic. Okay, this is my disclaimer again for the third time. My guess is if you haven't had your lawyer review it by now, you're not going to. But you should at least take a few seconds to review it yourself. Okay, today's topic is tips for getting started building an RV10. Okay, I had several tips already in my first video, which was the introduction to my channel. And I'm going to run through them briefly in case you haven't watched it. But like I said, just briefly. And if you have any interest, you should go back and watch that first video. Okay, tip number one is to start watching other RV10 build videos. I listed almost a dozen, I think, on the first video. Find a channel that you like and start watching their videos. And you'll probably only need to watch the first, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 videos, enough to get you through building the vertical stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer, and the rudder, say. Tip number two is to start watching other YouTube videos related to building an aircraft, but not necessarily RV10 related. And again, I had a list of probably a dozen other YouTube channels that you might be interested in watching. Tip number three is to take an introductory construction class. The one I took was at Synergy Air. They're in Portland, they're in Oregon, near the Vans factory. It was not cheap, but it wasn't expensive either, and I would say it was worth it, and you should definitely consider doing something like that. Tip number four is to build a practice kit, and I definitely recommend that you do that. If you take one of these classes, you'll probably build a practice kit in the class, but you can just buy a practice kit and build it yourself. Or maybe you want to do both. But I would highly recommend building at least one practice kit. The best one, I think, is the airfoil practice kit. Tip number five is to join Vans Air Force. And that's a website. And it has a very good list of questions and answers. You can post comments and reply to other people's comments. And it's often referred to as the forums, and it can be very useful. If you have a question, it's a good place to go and post your question, and you'll probably get some good responses. Tip number six is to reserve an N number for your plane. And if you go to my previous video, it'll tell you what website to go to. And it's fairly cheap. It's only $10 a year. And so why not? Okay, in my second video, which was on how much does building an RV10 cost, there were also several tips. So tip number seven is to watch the Sonja Englert YouTube videos. And her channel is about airplane design tutorials. And she has over 20 airplane design tutorial videos. And I don't know if you need to watch every single one, but you should definitely look through them and pick the most interesting ones and watch those. Tip number eight is to visit the factory. And if you live within 500 miles of the factory, I recommend it. If you don't, it's kind of up to you. Maybe you can combine it with a vacation trip. The factory is in Oregon near Portland. So it would be a nice vacation spot as well. Tip number 9 is to decide if you can afford it and whether or not you want to make the commitment to building an RV10 or some other airplane. Okay, so that brings us to new tips. So tip number 10 is to go ahead and order the empennage kit, and when you do, Vans will assign you a builder number. And as soon as you have your builder number, you can go on to tip number 11, and that is to get a full copy of the plans from Vans. If you go to this website here, I think it tells you that you can get the copy of the plans on a thumb drive, but I believe that they just told me how to download them, and I just downloaded the files. But you definitely want to get the full set of plans, not just for your first kit. You get the plans for the entire plane. And as soon as you have those, you can go on to step number 12, which is to start reading chapter 5, which is MS5 General Information.pdf. And the first half of the chapter is about working with aluminum, riveting, and similar types of things. And I recommend that you read the first half of chapter 5 very carefully. And the second half is about working with composites, fiberglass. And I recommend that you at least skim over the second half of chapter 5 so you know what's there. And as soon as you get to your first step working with fiberglass, go back and read the rest of chapter 5 in detail very carefully. Tip number 13 is to join the EAA, and that's the Experimental Aircraft Association. And when you order your first kit from Vans, included is a 1-year subscription to the EAA. And it's not all that expensive, so if you want to just go ahead and do it, you can just go ahead and join the EAA. And they have a number of webinars and publications, and also they sponsor the big air show in Oshkosh. And tip number 14 is to join your local chapter of the EAA. And they have a large number of local chapters. And I live in Camarillo, California, and they have a local chapter in my town. So that's not that big of a town, so there's a good chance that there's one near you as well. And that'll give you a chance to actually meet some people with similar interests, and hopefully they can answer some of your questions and help you out a little bit. Okay, tip number 15 is to go to Oshkosh. This is the EAA AirVenture Air Show, which is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And again, if you live in that area, say within 500 miles, it would probably be a very good thing to do. I've never been. I don't live within 500 miles, but I would like to go. In addition to meeting other builders, there'll be a lot of vendors there selling third-party add-ons for RVs, the RV10 and other RVs. And I think it would be a very interesting thing to do. Okay, tip number 16 is to get familiar with some of the FAA publications. And there's one in particular that I think is very good. And that's the first one here, Aviation Maintenance Technician Handbook, Airframe. That's volume 1, and volume 2 is Power Plant. And that's FAA-H-8033-31B. And it's available for free as a PDF download, as are all the rest of these FAA publications. And I'll put a link in the description. Some of the other publications you might be interested in are the one for the power plant, which I already mentioned. And then there's the aircraft inspection, repair, and alterations, acceptable methods, techniques, and practices. And there's two of those, AC 43.13 1B and 2B. And since these are free, there's really no excuse for not downloading these. And once you do, you should definitely start looking through them. And you don't have to sit down and read them word for word. They're like over 1,000 pages a piece. But you do need to look through them enough so that you know what's there, so that when you have a question, you know where to go to find the answer. Okay, tip number 17 is to go ahead and order your tools. Vans has a list of tools that they recommend that you purchase, and the website is given here. And they also have a list of tool suppliers, and that's on the next slide. This is Vans' list of tool suppliers for building an aircraft, one of their RVs. I only have personal experience with the first two, Cleveland Aircraft Tools and Aircraft Spruce. I'm sure the rest of these vendors are very good as well. I just don't have any experience with them. The one that I recommend that you start with is Cleveland Aircraft Tools. Go to their website, click on Airframe Toolkits, and that'll bring down a drop-down menu, and go to RV10, and I believe the base kit is $38.68 currently, plus add-ons. I recommend the Nova Palm Drill add-on, which is an additional $240. And it's a very nice air drill. It is a pleasure to use. And also, I have a DRDT2 dimpler, which I like very well. The alternative is a C-frame dimpler, which is very noisy. It works, but I would recommend the DRDT2. The Cleveland Tools pneumatic squeezer is a little bit different than other pneumatic squeezers, and they have a video about it and how it's different and how to use it. And I definitely recommend that you watch the video, and I like it a lot, and $600 is fairly expensive for a tool, but I would recommend it. In addition, I think it comes with 2 squeezer heads. I'm not sure about that, but you may want to look at buying 1 or 2 additional squeezer heads, or you might just wait until you have a little more experience before you do that. I like their flexible air hoses a lot. I think they have a 3-pack. I don't remember how much they were, but they're very nice. They're a pleasure to use. So I definitely recommend those. And almost everybody ends up buying more Clecos. You can wait till you need them, or you can just go ahead and buy more Clecos from the start. And I recommend all of their videos. They have quite a few, probably at least 20. And I recommend that you watch them all. One thing I like about Cleveland Aircraft Tools is their kind of goal in life is to provide the best tool for the job, not just a tool for doing the job, but the best tool for the job. And if you need to save a few dollars, there's probably cheaper ways to cheaper tools that you can buy that will be okay. But if you want the best tool for the job, this is the place to go. Okay, in addition to the tool suppliers that are on Van's list, here's some others that I recommend. And the first one is Van's Air Force, which is the website that I mentioned previously. And they have classified ads, and they have a search tool so that you can search through the classified ads easily. I bought my DRDT2 used from their classified ads. That was the only used tool that I could find that I was interested in. So it's worth checking out, but you're probably not going to find a nice selection of tools, of used tools available. The second one is Pan American Tools, and they sell the same Nova palm drill as Cleveland Aircraft Tools, and you can save, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks if you buy it from them instead. It's not a big deal, but it's exactly the same drill. Pan American Tools is kind of a wholesale type outfit, although they will sell to anybody. So I would, they sell a variety of cutting tools and drill bits and things like that. If you want something a little bit larger, like a palm drill, and you want some drill bits, order them at the same time. But it's really not the kind of place that I would go to just order a few drill bits. I don't know if they have a minimum order or not, but they might. And then everybody knows about Amazon, and that's an excellent place for common tools, but it's not that great of a place for aircraft-specific tools. So if you want something simple like a cordless drill, that's an excellent place to go. But be careful about buying aircraft-specific parts or aircraft-specific tools from Amazon. And then there's all the local big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and Harbor Freight, and others. So for things like drill press, bandsaw, belt sander, air compressor, they're good places to go for things like that. Okay, that's it for this video. If you want to recommend this video to other people with similar interests, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Then the YouTube algorithm will recommend these videos to other people with similar interests. If you have any additional tips, please add them as a comment so other people will know about them. And I may try and mention them in a subsequent video as well. Also, if you have any additions or corrections, certainly leave a comment. And I've mentioned this before, I would be interested in knowing your opinion on this PowerPoint format versus a more of a chat type format. So far, I like the PowerPoint format pretty well, and probably the next several videos will be in the same type of format. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.